Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. I am Smiles from Swiss Crypto Podcast, and in today's episode we're going to talk about why Bitcoin is as scarce as it has never been before. So stay tuned and let's get into it. 113 billion US dollars in Bitcoin locked by crazy holders who refuse to let go. That figure means investors have held onto 113 billion worth of Bitcoin despite the currency's massive volatility in the past few days. In 2019, Bitcoin's price swung from under 3,500 at the start of the year to nearly 14,000 in June, and then it dropped roughly 50% over the following 5 months. That's the head quote and the first paragraph of an article written on the Daily Hodl, and that article is all about how many Bitcoin are currently stored in wallets that haven't been touched for a while. And according to BitInfo charts, that number is about 13 million Bitcoin that haven't been moved or touched in over 1 year. So if you take the current circulating supply of Bitcoin that is around, and I'm not 100% sure how high it is. I think it's somewhere between 18 million and 18.5 million, something like that. So let's say 18 million Bitcoin that are currently around or available for everybody to purchase or to trade with. And that article is stating that over 12 million of those 18 million Bitcoins are being held in a wallet where they haven't been moved for over a year. And in my opinion, with all that trading going on, with all that volatility going on, especially the volatility in price that we have seen in the last year in 2019, for me that's kind of a bullish sentiment actually. That means that a lot of people are still holding on to their Bitcoin. They haven't lost faith in Bitcoin and they still see a purpose in Bitcoin. May that purpose be in being a store of value. May that purpose be in an investment instrument for the future because they expect the price of Bitcoin to go up in the next few years. We have the upcoming halving this summer. So despite the fact that we had those big price swings, most of the people that are holding Bitcoin, or the most amount of Bitcoin that is around, is being held in a place where it's not been moved for over a year. And directly tying into this, and that I found very interesting, was an article. I couldn't remember where I read that one, and I don't want to tell you guys some made up stuff, so I'm just gonna point out that this is probably speculation because I can't remember the article that I've read. Just came out yesterday, I think, that stated that Coinbase is in possession of over 1 million Bitcoin for its customers, so that the amount of Bitcoin that customers of Coinbase are storing with the exchange now have reached 1 million Bitcoin. And if you let those numbers go through your mind, and if you think about how many big exchanges that we have now in 2020, then I think it's pretty much worth to do the math and to find out how many Bitcoin that there really are in circulation that are open or free to the market to being traded and purchased. And that would also give us an image of how Bitcoin is seen, if it's an investment, if people think that there's more to come in the future, if people think it's just a volatile asset to trade with and to make money with. And I just wanted to find out how many Bitcoin there could be in circulation on the free market. And for that, with the information that Coinbase holds about 1 million Bitcoin for their customers, I put together an estimation of how many Bitcoin there still are on the open market. And for that, I'm just taking those 12 million dormant Bitcoin that we have, or that we now know of from that article from Daily Hodl. And on the other part, we have all the Bitcoin that is stored on an exchange or with an exchange. And of course, there are some people that are hodling on an exchange. And I'm just gonna assume now that every Bitcoin that is held on an exchange is there for being traded and so on. That's just an assumption, of course, and it won't be very detailed and correct, but let's just think like that. So we know, or we heard speculation that Coinbase is holding 1 million Bitcoin for their customers. Coinbase is one of the biggest exchanges around, so I guess other big exchanges are holding kind of the same amount. Binance, the biggest exchange around, I guess they also hold 1 million Bitcoin. So that makes 2 million. Then Bitstamp, that comes to my mind. I think the biggest or longest standing one in Europe. Let's say 500,000 Bitcoin. We have Kraken around. Let's say 500,000 Bitcoin. I don't know, just an assumption that makes 3 million Bitcoin in total. Some other exchanges combined from Asia and the American continent, probably also again 1 million. So that makes roughly 4 million Bitcoin held by exchanges. And that's just a rough estimate from me. So I get about 4 million Bitcoin if I count it like that. Let's say 1 or 2 million Bitcoin more, and that makes 4 to 6 million Bitcoin around in circulation on the free market, and those 12 million Bitcoin that haven't moved in a year. And I know this is not the best math that you can do. Of course, if you move Bitcoin, that doesn't mean you move it only to trade. That could be that you send it to another wallet, to another address of yours. I know that, of course, but I just want to somehow estimate how many Bitcoin there are being traded and stuff. We can see that in trading volume and so on. But with that article from Daily Hodl, I think we can estimate that there are about 4 to 6 million Bitcoin on the open or free market that are being traded through the year. And interestingly enough, that's about a quarter, not even a quarter of the total supply of 18 million Bitcoin that we currently have mined. And that's pretty crazy if you think about that only a quarter of the whole Bitcoin supply at the moment is being traded or being used for trade or purchases, etc. And the other 3/4 are being stored somewhere with someone. And that just makes me think where Bitcoin is going to go in the future. What people now really see in Bitcoin, do they see it as a means of purchase? Do they see it as an instrument of investment? Do they see it as a store of value? Probably. Did that really change in the last few years, that we came from a means of purchase and transaction to a means of wealth storage, if you want to say so? And I find that train of thought quite interesting and worth to go and think about. I think that's pretty important that we think about what could happen in the future or what we accept to happen. For now, me personally, I'm a hodler. I'm pretty sure that Bitcoin will go through the roof, if you want to say so, in the future. I don't think we're going to Lambo in the next few months, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see a steady growth in value of Bitcoin in the following 5 to 10 years. 90%, 95% sure that we're going to see that. And I think the numbers, the estimation numbers that we have around with how many Bitcoin are being stored without being moved, just also says that and makes that argument more valid. Let me know what you guys think about these numbers. Let me know what you guys think about that train of thought that I went. If you think that I'm totally wrong, if I missed something, I'm also happy if you tell me if you have other sources that state other numbers. That just helps me and helps everybody else to see through that jungle of information in the cryptocurrency space. So that's been it for today's episode. Thank you very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the content I provided, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the channel with your friends to bring out some information, and I'll see you in the next one.